Hey everybody, welcome back to Bones and Brews. Today we're going to make one of my favorite recipes on the smoker, believe it or not. And it's super easy. And it's when you got fresh veggies, you got to make it. We're going to make some smoked salsa. Now we've done this recipe before, so I'm going to put a banner here on the episode as well as in the description. You'll be able to find a link to the previous episode and recipe for our smoked salsa, because today we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to take it up a notch because it's Hatch chili season. So instead of using jalapenos in that smoked salsa, I've got a couple Hatch chilies here that we're going to do. I was going to roast them, and I think, you know what? I'm going to throw them on the smoker, and then I'll peel them after and with the rest of these veggies we're going to use for that salsa. So if you don't know, I love cooking with Hatch chilies, but they're really hard to find here in Missouri. And with Hatch chili season so fast, so I found some in my local market actually just yesterday. Grabbed myself a couple pounds of them. So we're going to do a bunch of recipes with them. I remember last year of this time, my parents who lived down in Texas, they actually mailed me a box of fresh Hatch chilies from down there. By the time they got here, 3 or 4 days of shipping. Open up that box, a few of them were not very good. And then I was trying my best to cook as fast as I could with any recipe possible. I was making Hatch chili mac and cheese. I was roasting them, Hatch chili burgers. Anything I could put Hatch chilies in, it happened. But today we're making that salsa, so let's get started. So, I've already got my ingredients ready to rock and roll here. My Weber Smoky Mountain over here to my side is at 250 degrees. I've thrown a little bit of hickory and a little bit of applewood on there as well. So we're gonna do, I've got some sliced fresh tomatoes, and then which is about 2.5 pounds of tomatoes here. I've taken about a quarter of a large onion. I'm using white onion for today's recipe. I've also used red onions. Either way, when you smoke it, it's gonna be okay. And then I've got about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic in there as well. I've put them in this pan, so while they're in the pan on the smoker, any juices that drop out of there, I'm gonna save that so when I puree everything in the food processor for that salsa, it's ready to go. So we're gonna throw that on, and I've got a couple of Hatch chilies here. We're gonna throw those on the Weber Smoky Mountain. They should take about an hour. We'll pull everything off. We'll let it cool for a minute, and then we'll show you the next steps. All right, so I have pulled those veggies off the Weber Smoky Mountain. I let them cool here for about 10 minutes. Once they cooled a little bit, I was able to take those Hatch chilies, pull that skin off. So easy to do. So, and I got most, not all, but most of those seeds out of those Hatch chilies as well. So I got my food processor here. We're gonna get started with the size of my food processor. This might take me 2 rounds to get everything rocking and rolling. What we're gonna do is we're going to start putting in some of those tomatoes. They're still nice and juicy as well. When I smoked them, even though they're halved, that juice in those tomatoes just sat in the top of those. And we're going to do about half of this at a time. So I'll take about half of that Hatch chili as well. I'll take one of the 2 that I smoked. Half of that onion. I'll grab a little bit of that garlic that we smoked. We'll throw it in that processor. Turn that on. We'll let it go here for a moment. It won't take very long because those veggies are extremely soft after they come off that smoker. I'm gonna hit that off button. All right, so they're about halfway chopped down the way we want them. So I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm going to add a little bit of cilantro in there. All right, a little bit of salt. And I've got this lime here that I'm going to cut in half. I'm going to use half the lime for the first part of this. And I'll use the other half of the lime when I do the other half in the food processor. Squeeze that lime juice in there. Oh yeah, that's a thing of beauty. All right, we're going to turn this back on. We're going to let this go. And then I'll put the rest of those veggies in. I'm going to pour this part in a bowl. I'll get the other veggies in there. We'll get that all mixed together as well. And then we'll come back and give it a taste test. I got my chips here, by the way, and my cold beer. I'm ready for this Hatch chili salsa. Second half is done here in the processor, so let's go ahead and pour that in the bowl as well. Now you can eat this while it's still nice and warm. There's nothing wrong with that. Or just throw it in the refrigerator. It'll keep for a few days. it'll survive that long. I mean, most of us would probably eat it quicker than it would stay fresh in the fridge anyway, so it doesn't matter. I've also actually made so many batches of it before that I have taken it and put it in mason jars, and I've got them nice and sealed up in those mason jars, so they kept for a long time as well, and gave them as gifts. So that's not a bad idea either. But make sure you let everything cool, and then go ahead and put them in mason jars. Follow the process for sealing those jars, and then they're good to go. All right, so you see we got ourselves a nice bowl here of that salsa. It's not a thick one because we had it in that processor. I'll grab myself a chip here. Might as well give it a taste test. Grab my beverage as well. Make sure I'm ready to rock and roll here. Damn, that makes me happy. I love smoked salsa. This is absolutely delicious. Now, with me using this Hatch Chiles, it's not extremely hot. Now that I've made it this first time with this Hatch Chiles, I could add a little bit more Hatch Chiles. I could stay what I did and maybe add a jalapeno in there as well. Add some different heat. But to be honest, this is one that everybody will love. It's not over the top. It's a great, just a throw on the table, appetizer, or just watching TV. You want some chips and a dip. This, my friends, is absolutely delish. I tell you what, if you get some fresh tomatoes from a local market or from your own garden, if you got some, even if you use this recipe with fresh jalapenos from your own garden, or you can get some hands on fresh Hatch Chiles, the fresher the ingredients, the better this tastes, even though you're smoking them on that smoker. This is incredible. So remember, friends, you can find us on all the socials. We're on Instagram. You can find us on our Bones and Brews Facebook group page. You can find us on, of course, this YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe as well. We also have our Bones Brews BBQ website that you can check out. So remember to subscribe. Check us out on all the socials. Go back and check the previous smoked salsa episode if you have any questions as well. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys again on Bones and Brews.